Hey guys, welcome to another test route video. So today we are at Wanstead and we're going to be doing episode number 3 and maybe probably 4. So let's see what we can pick out and what to learn from this route. So this is the test center route. Probably if you're lucky enough you get a parking space here. Otherwise, if you're not lucky enough, okay. Be careful of the yellow box when you're coming out. Make sure there's space for you to go into ahead before you do that. Okay, it's clear for me to go. Alright, so not so busy this morning, so that junction sometimes can be very busy, so don't rush yourself, especially with the yellow box. Look out for it. Make sure you've got space to go into before you move off there. Okay, so we're turning right here. Oh, so there you go. Now at this traffic light, we're turning right, and as you can see on the floor marking, you can actually use both lanes to turn right. Now because we're turning right and then turning left afterwards, it is better you use the left lane to turn right, and then that puts you in the right position for your next turn, which is going to be on the left. Now this is the problem sometimes with the road signs. Now if there are more traffic, now the person behind would not know that you can actually turn right in the left lane because we're sitting on the floor marking. Now a sign on the, what's it called, a sign on one of the poles would actually be a better idea to help people see much more further or much more earlier. There you go. City drivers not plan ahead with the sat nav there. So this is what can happen on your test if you're not actually looking on the sat nav or listening to pay attention to when the sat nav gives you two instructions at once. So sat nav would say turn right at the traffic light and then turn left, but then obviously it would say the name of the road or the letters and all that. So that's really what can happen to you. So make sure that you're having that plan. But if you end up in the right lane and you realize it's too late, then just continue straight if you can't change safely back to the left lane. It's quite a nice view here, isn't it? So we're going to continue here for another few, just under half a mile, and then we're turning right. So nothing much here, just keep in mind, remember the speed limit, keep that in mind, and then look out for signs for when the speed changes so that you can adjust your speed accordingly. Alright, so was that I wasn't, that's weird. See right there? The sign might confuse you, like if you're coming out from a different speed zone because it's a big one, but we're actually not. So we're turning right here, and from what I see ahead, it's a single lane on the road we're turning to, so nothing to worry about. I saw a couple of tests starting just before I moved off there, So that means I am starting exactly about the same time when someone might have a test. Could be your test at this time. So it's actually quite interesting. So you get to see what the traffic looks like. Now, right there, the filter is on for those going left. So if you were turning left at this point, you want to be moving off. And if you don't notice that, the examiner has to remind you or prompt you, that could potentially be a serious fault. Okay, so clearly the traffic is controlled independently. So while we've got a green light, they've got a red light. So that means you can just go through it smoothly and nicely. So we're still in a 30 zone. So nothing changes with that. Now I've got 4 miles to go. It's not a long route. 4 miles and that should take about 21 minutes to complete that. So if you find yourself on this route, you've just got to remember to stay calm and focus on the road. Focus on the signs. Now if you notice, I do a lot of driving test centers or test route, and a lot of these places I am just going to be going through them for the first time, like you as well. And that's just to let you, understand that you can pass anywhere. Although knowing the area does help because I'm more relaxed. I'm not worried about, getting or not getting a license. That's one big difference between the two of us, hence why I can be a lot more relaxed than you would. So knowing the area can benefit a lot on your test. But on the other hand, you could pass anywhere if you can just relax. You go on some roads and you might not be familiar, it might be tricky. And when it's tricky, that's where problem comes. Just do what's the safest. Do the safest option. So we're coming to a roundabout here. That's Woodford A104. Woodford roundabout, I'll call it. Now, I've not been on the roundabout from this side, so let's see what happens here.
So if you have watched episode number 2, then you would notice we came through Waterworks roundabout again, but we came in from A406, and on that one I went through the wrong lane. And that is exactly what can happen at this complicated multi-lanes roundabout if you're not familiar with the area. Now, that situation in episode number 2 happened while I was going through this roundabout again from this direction. So I was hoping this was going to be different, but it wasn't. It was literally just the same thing. So from this direction, we're taking the third exit for A406 East.
Change lane later. So we're taking 1, 2, 3. The third exit, A406. So if we look on there is A406 in the middle lane. There you go. So that's what I mean. So not a problem. So I will probably come back around after the test route and then approach this roundabout again and just make a short video for this roundabout, what you would want to do it from the left lane. So as we can see, you can also use the middle lane. So that would come from the left lane and then you merge into the middle lane and then take it from there. But because I'm in the right lane, it's no problem with that. So I just continue with the right lane because I want to be careful of those guys in the middle lane. They would take the middle still. So.
And at this traffic light ahead is where I made the mistake. Now, a quick one before I continue, just so you understand that you're not going to be the only one confused at this roundabout. Pay attention to the red Nissan Qashqai in front. From that position, as the driver crosses the light, he or she should have then moved into the third lane from the right. But instead, the driver continues straight into the lane right in front of them, which is for the vehicles in the lane on their right. Is where I'm sitting on right now. So this should emphasize the importance of being aware of what other people around you are doing and make sure you use your mirrors. So at this point, I should have been getting ready to move into the next lane on my left. as you'd see here, the fifth lane is no longer going to A406 East. So in this situation though, now because we've got the next lane to our left that also continues to A406 East and the exit is still further away. So if you can still change lane safely to the next lane on your left here, then you can do that. But if you're now at this point where you would have to jump over another lane to get to the lane that takes you to A406, just like in this situation where I would have to jump over A104 South or A503 in order for me to access A406 East, then that would not be a good idea. So just continue back around, or better still, change to the next lane on your left and take the exit for A104 South. Now, if you're doing this, I would always recommend to talk through what you're doing so that way your examiner understands what you're doing, so they're not assuming, they know what you intend to do.
Okay, so we're still going back around and we're coming back again from where we started. So I remain in the right lane all the way. So I know I started from this exit here, so just right here. So I was supposed to start changing lane after the first exit. So let's see that again. Yeah, so this is it. This is really what happens on your test. See, roundabouts like these are the ones that gives you headache on your test, especially if you're not familiar with the area, just like you said. So this is real life situation here. Okay, so from this point, A406 East is still on this lane, but from the next traffic light is where you need to change lane.
And remember your mirror checks, because other drivers around you might just be heading for the wrong lane as well. So mirror checks at roundabouts like this is very important.
Left lane here.
And if at this point it is still safe and you can change safely to the left lane before getting to the light, then you can do that. But otherwise, remember, just remain in this middle lane and exit from there. But please remember, your use of mirror is very important, and signal correctly. And as we move off at this traffic light, you're going to have to move another one lane to your left. So just like the one in the episode number 2. So as we're driving off the traffic light now, you're going to need to shift. So that van is going to go to the extreme left, and I'm going to need to go to the second lane on the left, as you can see right here. So keep this in mind, watch this over and over, practice the road over and over so that you can get used to it. Also remember that you can find separate videos on dealing with this roundabout in the Wanstead playlist, and you can also find them on TikTok as well, so yeah, don't forget to check them. So now that I have now exited the roundabout, I'm going to look for a safe opportunity and then change back to the left lane, because remember, the left lane is your normal driving lane. So whenever it is safe and possible, get yourself back to the left lane. Of course, unless if maybe you're turning right ahead and that's why you're sitting in the right lane, then that's fine.
Of course, because that's your normal driving lane. So definitely that roundabout will be tricky if you're not used to it and your first time coming through it. Definitely. Ooh, we've got another roundabout coming up.
So the roundabout ahead is the Charlie Brown's roundabout, and on this roundabout we are taking the third exit for Chigwell Road. So the lane we're going to be taking from this point would be the right lane. Now when we get to the roundabout, this becomes the third lane because the road is going to open up to 3 lanes. So the left lane is going for A113 North, the middle is going for Gans Hill A1400, and the third lane, which is the right lane, is going to be going for A113 South, which is what's going to take us to Chigwell Road. And if at this point you end up in the middle lane, remember you can still change to the right lane because the junction is still like about another 100 yards away. So if it's safe to change to the right lane, then yes, I would still change to the right lane up until this point here. So yep. And just right at this point, I should have continued in the lane, but I crossed this line on the right here, and that puts me in the wrong lane again. So yes, I had to go back all the way around, as you can see here. Went back all the way around and round and round to come back again to do it properly. So yes, but that is hopefully if you manage to remember where you actually started. And because the lane from this point is going to take you to A1400 and A113, you don't want to signal too early. So get to this point and then signal left. Otherwise, that signal can mislead other road users. Yes, and that was it. So this is me now exiting. Now I have done the roundabout again after completing this test route. And you can find that video alongside in the same playlist as this particular video. So for Wanstead playlist. So that would help you deal with this roundabout properly from that road we came from.
So this is it. And if you were doing a parallel parking, let's just pretend. So I'm going to do a parallel parking next to this car. So how I do it in my car. Okay. Get my side mirror at the front in this situation. Be aware of your front going towards this car. Keep that in mind. I'll just take my time just like a learner would. Okay, and keep it going. Make sure you're looking at those mirrors. I've got a reverse camera, but use it only when and if necessary. If it's not necessary, remember, focus on the mirrors, and that's it. And when you're gonna move off, make sure you do your full round check. Blind spot. Any cars on the driveway, might be moving off. So you want to make sure that you know if there is anyone leaving the driveways. A lot of the times learners do the blind spot check, but you're still just looking on the road, and that's really not doing it correctly. You're looking at the wrong place. Your attention is on the wrong place. Remember that your blind spot area should be areas that are not covered in your mirrors. So if you're looking at areas that you can already see in the mirrors, then you are not checking your blind spot properly. You're just looking back into areas that you have seen in the mirror. Okay, we are almost at the end of it. This is really it. 2 minutes left. That's it. Okay, clear on the left so I can focus on the right. And there we go. So be very careful at this bend. Take your time, don't rush it. Once you know it's clear on the left, then you can focus on your right as you creep forward. You go, and don't come into this bend too fast. As you can see, you never know what's coming around the corner. Okay, and then we're gonna turn left here. Again, take your time here. If it's clear on the right, then focus on your left as you creep out. But don't be too hesitant about it when it's time to move. You know, this is always one of the problems. You know, you've looked your right is clear, and then time to come through, you're looking on the left now, which is fine, but then you're taking so long. And while you're doing all that, something is now coming from the right, and you haven't seen it, and you're now holding them back. That's where you get a problem. Okay, I've got time. This car is turning left. There we go. And that's it. And we're back to the test center. That's the end of it. So that's episode 3 done. Very short. So it's a very short route, but you've got the tricky roundabouts, and I'm gonna go back there after I do episode number 4, so that I can make a proper, guidance video for those roundabouts. Okay.
So this is the end of this episode, route number 3. So don't forget, like, share, subscribe, and I would see you in the next video. Stay blessed, one love, peace, and I'm out.